Sarcasm Speaks here. Jared and Bob coming at you. This is our third episode in 3 days. We're doing a back-to-back one for us on Sunday here. So obviously it's Sunday afternoon. We're right in the middle of football, but we literally just talked about this before we hit the record button. We're not going to spend a ton of time talking about the football this week because by the time you guys are listening to this, it's going to be the Monday after week 2. Yeah. So we can give you a quick synopsis and then you guys can be like, wow, they're fucking assholes because week 2, the total other thing happened. Like, you know, if we say like, oh, wow, the Pats really suck. Well, they probably will suck again next week in week 2. I don't even know who they're playing next week.
They're playing Pittsburgh. They'll probably win.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. You never know now. This team.
Well, I mean,
really
so this will be. This is okay. Like this is all right to listen to because by the time everyone listens, it'll be, you know, right, wrong, and different.
Right.
Pats look awful.
They do look very bad.
Pittsburgh just beat the Bengals.
Yeah.
They were +5 in the turnover differential, and they they could not have won by any less of a margin.
Right. They literally almost tied
0-0-0 on the clock in overtime with a field goal. There's like, they could not have won by slimmer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because even if they won by 1, that means they would have scored whatever. Fuck you if you got a real problem with that. But
yeah.
So what's going to happen? People are going to overreact to how bad the Patriots played and overreact to Pittsburgh. And here we go.
I wouldn't be surprised. Again, this is going to be way in the future, but I wouldn't be surprised if Pittsburgh's a slight favorite. Like if Pittsburgh opens up like -1.
Yeah, it's in Pittsburgh. So
yeah,
a pick.
Yeah. Speaking of a pick.
Who knows? Yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, this is coming out after week 2, but as of week 1, you know, and this is one of those things that Ian McMillan talks about all the time. Friend of the show. Shout out to Ian at Bacon Bets podcast. Is the overreactions, right? It's literally week 1.
Yep.
Like
they just played in Miami. Think about historically how the Patriots play in Miami.
Right. Well, no, I'm talking like as a league, right? Like just league wide. It's week 1, right? Like you know nothing after week 1.
And that's where like when people like when certain people pick games, like they've been doing it for a very, very long time. So it's like looking at certain things like right now, Minnesota's kind of putting it to Green Bay. Like that's a big win. Like next week's a big letdown spot for them. So it's like, I'd be very wary about, but it's also because they're a marginal team.
Yeah.
Like next week, there's no letdown spot for the Kansas City Chiefs who are throttling the Cardinals because they are probably pretty good. And I think Arizona might be not good.
Yeah. We literally said that too, for all the shit we were talking about Kansas City. They literally haven't missed a beat. They've scored almost 40 fucking points. Patrick Mahomes has 334 yards for 5 touchdowns.
Didn't I put them as 1 or 2 in the division though, I think.
You might have. I don't know. I'd have to go back.
I had the Broncos last. I did because I had like them 1 or 2. Probably said flip them, don't flip them, whatever.
Yeah, I had them third.
I had the Raiders at 3 and Broncos as 4.
I think I went Chargers, Raiders, Chiefs, Broncos.
But either way,
but again, it's week 1, right? Like, who knows? Anything could happen.
the big takeaway from week 1, as I mentioned last week. Yes, because this was last week. First survivor pool, San Francisco. We're out.
Yep.
Had a good run.
I tailed you with San Francisco, and we got kicked off in the fucking first week of a survivor.
You would also mention the Colts.
Yeah,
that's a loss.
And then jokingly, I said should probably just take the Dolphins.
Yeah.
And I didn't take the Dolphins. I took the 49ers.
Yeah, you should have.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was a good survivor run. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun $10. Shout out to mybookie.com.
It was over by 4:00.
Yep. Make sure you use the promo code Sarcasm Pod when you sign up at MyBookie, and they will double your deposit, your first deposit, up to $1,000 over there. So if you want to make a nice donation in a survivor pool like we did, you can do that. It's a $10 survivor pool.
You can't jump in the survivor anymore. It's over.
Yeah, no, I think that's it.
But you can jump in the super contest, I think, and try to make up the ground.
Yeah. Good luck.
Super contest is pick 5. Well, you pick 5 against the spread. So it's like, it would be like going 0 for 5 on week 1.
Yeah.
Which happens.
It happens.
Wouldn't have happened to me this week.
It's in the process of happening to me this week. I think the only bet, so I did hit Cleveland on the money line. I took them plus 120.
I had them spread.
I am, as it stands, 1-3. So I hit Cleveland money line. The fucking Detroit Lions with a backdoor cover blew the Eagles -4. So they only won by 3. Cincinnati, I had -6.5. They lost outright. San Francisco, I had -7. They lost outright. And now I'm sitting on the Giants plus 5.5. They're currently losing. And I have the over 54 in the Chiefs game. And there's 44 points right now with the clock running out of the third quarter.
Were you on the Giants, or was that a bartender fade?
Bartender fade. I saw
bartender's he's fucking killing me. It was like 20 minutes before kickoff too.
Yeah.
The bartender's gonna move. Oh, yeah, it might be a little early. It feels like the bartender's gonna move to 2-0. We'll see.
Yeah, fucking. So there we go. Again, no one knows. But the one thing I will say, though, I do have to throw this out here, and this could potentially get worse after week 2. I tweeted this out. So let me pull up my tweets here. My fantasy football roster history. In 2020, I had Christian McCaffrey. I think I got him with like the 3rd overall pick or something that year, whatever it was. I had Christian McCaffrey. If you remember, that's the year he only played 3 games. So that was that. I can't really remember who else I had in 2020, but Christian McCaffrey obviously is the big one. 2021, last year, this was good. I actually went back and found the roster, like a screenshot of my roster that I sent to someone. In 2021, on one single fantasy roster, I had Calvin Ridley, who left the team for mental health reasons and then stopped playing. He quit on his team, right? So I had Calvin Ridley, who just stopped playing. Robert Tonyan, who had a good year the year before, and then last year blew his ACL, I think in like week 4 or 5. Then I had Russell Wilson, who broke his finger, I think in week 6, missed only 2 weeks, but they rushed him back. He came back way too early because he only, like I said, he only came back. He only missed 2 games, and then he was never the same for the rest of the season. So then by proxy, I had DK Metcalf also on that team, who did basically nothing last year because Russell Wilson could barely fucking throw the ball. So that's not it. I also had Derrick Henry, who got hurt and fucking broke his foot, I think in week 9. Week 8, week 9. It's funny how all of these injuries too happened to me between like week 6 and 9. So I think Derrick Henry broke his foot in week 8 or 9, something like that. Oh, for the year. Came back in the playoffs, but that doesn't help me for fantasy purposes. And oh yeah, I had Josh Jacobs, who battled through some injuries last year and did nothing. After rushing for over 1,000 yards in his first 2 seasons, last year he rushed for like 800 and had like 3 touchdowns. And like I said, battled with injuries all year. So that was 2021. Again, quick rundown. Calvin Ridley, Robert Tonyan, Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, Derrick Henry, and Josh Jacobs. That's one team. Absolutely fucking destroyed. After week 1 in the 2022 season, I have Naji Harris, who went down with a foot injury, potential Liz Frank injury. Well, we all know how those Liz Frank injuries are, right? Fucking fantastic. And then Rondale Moore, who didn't even make it through week 1 because he blew his hamstring so badly, he had to go get an MRI on it. And that's never a good sign. When you have to get an MRI to diagnose a muscle issue, That's not good. And it's only week 1. So Naji Harris, Rondale Moore so far this year, gone after my year last year, and then Christian McCaffrey in 2020. And I know we've talked about this in the past, and you are right up there with me, if not worse. I don't remember in particular what year it was where you had a year similar to my team last year in 2021, where you had like 5 or 6 guys that all got injured.
Yeah. So I actually logged into my Yahoo. I can see my results and my finishes, but I can't.
You can't
see the rosters anymore. Used to be able to. 2017, I know I had Allen Robinson, who blew his knee out week 1.
Yep.
Carson Wentz blew his knee out later in the season. I believe Carson Wentz was a replacement for somebody else. I don't remember who. Dalvin Cook, I had him. He blew his knee out.
Yep.
I want to say I had 6 or 7 season-ending injuries.
Yeah.
And that's not just off my draft. That's like some people I got to replace in my draft.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So
was that the year Aaron Rodgers got hurt? What year did he only play like 5 games with the collarbone or whatever the fuck he had shoulder?
It could have been. It could have been 2017. Let me see if I can
get on Pro Football Reference pretty quick.
Yeah, or they have his stats on Wikipedia too.
Yep, 2017, 7 games.
2017, yeah.
Yep. So that's who got hurt. Aaron Rodgers got hurt, and then Carson Wentz got hurt.
Carson Wentz. Yeah,
pretty good.
That is pretty good.
Yep, Dalvin Cook, and obviously Dalvin Cook. You know what? I did draft Dalvin Cook pretty early, out of respect.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, was he a first round player back then?
No, probably not. I probably took him in 4 through 6, which was was a little bit of a reach. He was a 2nd round draft pick.
Yeah.
And
what was his rookie year? 2016?
17.
Oh, okay. That was it. He blew his knee out in his rookie year. That's fucking blows.
And Latavius Murray was there already.
Yep.
So Dalvin Cook was like pegged to be 2nd guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah. So we have collectively, we have an awesome track record when it comes to fantasy football. And,
I also just looked.
health.
So in there, I did 7 survivors in Yahoo. Those were all for free. That's why I really don't count them.
Yeah.
Average finish. Do you want to guess?
Out of how many people?
No, average finish week, like when I get eliminated.
Oh, 3.
Week 2.
Yeah.
That's awful. How the fuck does that happen?
Yeah.
And it's like, of all teams that I thought were going to struggle, and this is hard because I saw the weather this morning. I know you were playing.
Yeah.
It's awful. Like, the weather was terrible. And I'm like, well, that should probably favor the 49ers. Better run game. Keep it moving, blah, blah, blah. But it's just like, I should have recognized that that's going to be a goofy game.
Yeah.
Was
it in Chicago?
Yep. So it's a 1 o'clock in Chicago, and I should have got scared off, but I also got scared off by the Ravens because they had the highest liability, I guess. I don't know. It's like the highest % of people taking them.
Right.
Which scares me off too. So whatever. I just can't win. Natural born loser.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty hard to do. Like, when you lose on a level like we do, like, I would say it's impressive, really. Wow, Aaron Rodgers getting absolutely fucking annihilated in this game.
How was Shining Rock?
It was really good. So
did you get rained on?
Not bad.
Okay.
It was like a little spritz here and there. Like, it wasn't like it like barely rained for like a hole and a half, and then it stopped, and then it like started raining again, and then it stopped. Like, it wasn't like we didn't get soaked.
Yeah.
Like, it was fine. Like, I was dry, but at the end of the round, like, it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't like a thing.
Would you play white tees?
We played the greens,
which was 1 up, right?
Yeah.
And that's like 54, 56.
61.
Was green?
Yeah. Green is 61, whites is 600. So I'll give you the rundown. So me and Vinny get in the cart and we pull up to the first tee and we're like, yeah, we're just going to play whites. There's another guy with us. His name was Frank. Shout out to Frank. He was actually pretty fucking cool.
Sup, Frank.
He was like, yeah, man, I'll play the whites with you. It's fine. And then there's an old guy, fucking Keith, pulls up and I think I don't know if he's a member there or whatever, but he plays there a lot. And he's like, oh, you guys also remember old guy, right? So he's like, oh, what you guys are playing the whites? Like, you don't want to play the whites here. You just play the greens. Like the greens are your standard tees and the whites are, a little forward. And I'm sitting in the car and I looked at Vinny and I go, it's literally 190-yard difference over the course of 18 holes. That's like 15 yards per hole. Like that's difference. Like it really doesn't fucking matter. And what I said to Vinny was, what the big difference probably is between the greens and the whites is the angle of attack, or like where the tee box is. Like it's probably, at an easier angle or a different spot. If there's on average, only like a 10 to 20 yard difference from the tees. And it's like, so we're like, yeah, fine, whatever. So we're like, fine, we'll just play the greens.
Well, through 6 holes, I'm only seeing a difference on 1 and 5.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot. There was a few, and it was actually exactly what I had said to Vinny. There was a few holes later on. I think one of the par 5s.
So 1, 5, and 9 were different.
Yeah,
than white. I'm not going to do the back.
Yeah, I'd have to go back to my 18 birdies and look at the GPS and tell you. But there were a few holes that it was just that it had a different, like the tee boxes weren't that far. It wasn't like a vertical dispersion. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like, like it might have only been like 8 yards back, but the white tees were like, 27 yards to the right. That was a more straighter angle with like less tree, like just shit like that. Like I was saying. But so we play the greens and I step up and I hit an absolute fucking rocket off the first tee with the driver, and it catches the hill and goes down. And old man Keith goes, and you were going to play the whites. And I go, yeah, don't worry. There's plenty of fucking swings left for me to fuck it up. And he was like, yeah, well, but also the first tee, it was literally like it was maybe 12 yards in front. So like, if I did play the whites, like I probably would have been in the woods because it was a dog left and it was downhill. So if I was, like I said, if I was 12 yards further up and hit the same shot that I hit, I probably would have been in the woods. So like, whatever, dude, like fuck off, Keith. So we get through and I played not that good all around. I had some, like the highs were really high and the lows were really low. Like I felt like I couldn't make good contact with any of my irons. I felt like I hit everything thin and everything was like a low slice. Like everything that was coming off of my irons was literally just low and would, go move left to right. So that was a pain in the ass for most of the day. My wedges were fucking great. My driver was hit or miss as usual. But I made a birdie with a 0 putt. So that was pretty cool. I hold out from the fringe with the putter. So there was one hole, it was a short par 4. I think it was like maybe 300 yards or like 290 and change or something like that, but it was downhill. And Vinny almost drove the green. He hit an absolute fucking rocket. And he was maybe 12 yards off the front of the green in the fairway. I was a little bit off to the right and I had like probably 40 yards to the pin. So I hit my chip shot. It hits on the green and then rolls a little bit onto the fringe, but it rested against the rough. So it's like in that fucking miserable position where like it's on the first cut, but the ball is like leaning into the rough. So you don't really have a backswing with a putter. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to putt it anyway. So I go up and I did the, what does Cunty Chris call it?
Putter bump.
The putter bump. So I do a putter bump.
Hands forward and just kind of chop.
That's literally what I did. I just put my hands forward and kind of chopped at it. And it went and like caught the, like, it's not a real ridge, but it caught like the downhill slope and then went right in the fucking hole. And it was a birdie. And I was like, Jesus Christ. And that was on 17. So all day I was fucking struggling. And then on the 17th hole, I hit a great drive, chip it close, and then putt it in off the fringe for a birdie. And I'm like, you have got to be fucking kidding me.
Is it like Shaker Hills?
Similar, yeah. It's there's not a lot of places to miss, basically.
Yeah. So
but like the trees aren't thick. So there's most of the holes are all tree lined, but it's like it's not like woods because it's tree lined, but then right on the other side of the trees is another hole. So it's almost like it kind of reminds me of between 7 and 8 at Sharon, but like a little bit thicker than that.
Oh, thicker?
Yeah, a little bit thicker than that. Because like at some spots, it's only like 2 or 3 trees like deep, really. Like this, it's a little bit thicker than that.
Okay.
But it's still like it's not woods, you know.
Yep.
But even like I said, that being said, like they don't really give you a lot of places to miss. The one thing I didn't like about it was, and I don't know why this is becoming a thing for me, but the par 3s were all
long and forced carries.
Long, yeah. Like I'd have to go back and look at the card.
So when I looked, you had one that was like 200. You had one that was like 200. Another was like 150. And I don't know what the back was.
There was one that we played that was 230.
Okay. So that on the card, that one's only like 211.
Yeah. Yeah. Where the tees were, it was 230. And I was like, well, that's cool, I guess. Like, I don't know what club I'm going to hit here. I'll just hit hybrid and lay it up on a par 3, I guess. Because I can't hit driver. Because if I hit driver and actually connect it, it's going way over. So it's like, all right, cool. Like I said, like I'll hit hybrid and lay it up on a par 3, which I think I snap hooked it with the hybrid like I have been doing. And it wasn't all the way gone. Like I just pulled it out of the woods and like hit a shot from there. Like it was, I don't know. It was tough. Definitely a tough course, not as hard as Brookside, obviously, or Saratoga National. Those are probably the 2 hardest fucking courses I've probably ever played, or at least played recently. I may have played somewhere that's harder that I just don't really remember. But it was nice. Like the fairways were in decent shape. Some of the tee boxes were a little rough, but
I don't care about tee boxes because you put a tee in the ground.
Yeah, the greens were nice. There was like maybe 2 greens that weren't nice, but it was like hillbillies. You know, like people like leaving fucking divots and not fixing their divots.
Yeah, they don't fix their shit.
And then like one of the holes had like a fucking drag mark, like someone dragged their feet across it.
I'm seeing more and more of that now.
Yeah.
People don't pick their fucking feet up.
Yeah, just pick up your fucking feet. So like the condition of the greens were great, right? But like I said, there was maybe 2 or 3 that, had some fucking craters in it just because there's hillbillies, and one that had the fucking scuff marks coming off. But I mean, it was a nice course. I would definitely go back there and play it again. So
there was a Tour Greater Boston event there the weekend before.
Yeah.
And our British friend played.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they had to play back. And I don't know what happened with them determining tees, but I think they played from like 67.
Yeah.
So those par 3s, 3 of them were 200 or longer.
Oh yeah. The one that was 230, there was another tee box behind us. And I go, that's
James
like,
said he had to play one from 240.
That's probably the one. That's because I was going to say where that tee box was on the one that we played, it probably was approaching 250.
Yeah.
Like a 250-yard par 3.
Yep. That's comical.
Which is insane for amateurs, like people like us.
That's comical.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said similar things, but it's hard. Like, you step up to the tee, tells me it's hazard right, OB left.
Yeah.
And
a lot of elevation change.
Okay. Yeah.
But not like crazy, not like Merrimack Valley or anything like that. But like there was one hole that I think kind of sucked. It was a par 5 and it was uphill. And it's like, come on. Like I think it was I forget which one. I can probably look and see. I think it was the 13th hole. Because I doubled it. So if I can go back and find 13. I don't know. It was probably like a 500-yard par 5, but uphill.
I think they might have played it at like 560 or 540 or something. It was something crazy.
Let me see if I can jump to the 13th hole on this. All right. Yeah, this is the one. Oh, so that's what it was. So the 13th hole, it's a par 5 uphill, and you have a forced carry off the tee. That's like, it's not bad, but it's probably like 170 yards. Like you have to hit it over 170 yards. Which again, off the tee should be fine, right? But I hit it like shit, and I put it 185 in the rough on the right-hand side. So
that close.
Yeah, it was close. So a 185 and then a 90 and a 75. What is that? 185 plus 90 plus 75. And then a 67, 70. Yeah, it was probably, I don't know. I just fucked up that calculator math, but there's probably like roughly a 500, maybe like 510. But again, uphill, like it sucked.
Uphill, force carries, yeah.
Yeah, that was hard. But some of the other holes were fine.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. Sounded like just a massive pain in the ass.
Yeah. But it's almost like
he described it as hard off the tee, but after that, nothing crazy.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good way. It was hard off the tee, but it was doable after that, because they didn't really like I said, they don't give you a lot of places to miss, but they do give you like landing areas. So like I'm just like skipping through the GPS. So for example, on the 11th hole, it looks like 130, that's 260, right about 260. So the hole itself is probably about a 340-yard hole, but probably at the 250 mark, there's fairway bunkers on the left side. But then as soon as you get past those bunkers, right about 260, the fairway like doubles in width. And then
you got to fly at 250 though.
Right. And then it funnels into the green. But so what I mean is like and I know it's a par 4, but what I would imagine they kind of want you to do is like hit your second shot to that open area. Like for someone like me, right? Like if I were going to play this smart, I would hit probably 6-iron off the tee and then hit my second shot to the big open area and then chip it on the green, 2-putt, get out of there with a bogey.
Wait, you
right?
said
Like that's
what was the total yardage?
probably like 340.
Par 4.
Par 4, yeah.
And you said the bunkers show up probably what at 230?
Yeah.
So you'd hit a 200 and then have 150 in.
Yeah. That's it. But the fairway gets narrow. So like the fairway gets narrow and then there's bunkers and then it gets way wider.
All right. Well, I'm not looking at it. So
Yeah. And I don't think you'd be able to see it on here. Well, you can kind of see it on YouTube. See how it gets like narrow here and then it gets way wider there.
Well, either way,
into the green.
Yeah, I gotcha. So when I do it, I use Google Earth so I can kind of I can measure like what the width is, because even though it looks narrow, if it's like 50 yards, it's like that's not that wide. I'm sorry, that's plenty wide for an iron
right
off the tee.
Right. So
what it cost?
$89
to ride.
Yeah, to ride 18 on a Sunday.
That's not bad.
No, not bad at all. Like I said, for the money, for what it was, I shot a 94. So it's like right in the wheelhouse of like where I normally should be, right? Like I'm usually right around, that 90 to 94 range. And like very rarely I might be able to put up an 88 or an 89, but I played within my game. Like I had 3 pars and a birdie. So I'm trying to think. I opened up triple.
Love that.
So I opened up triple, par, double, bogey, double, bogey.
We had to ease into the round.
Yeah. And then on the back, I played a little bit better. I've won 4 bogeys, 2 doubles, 2 pars, and a birdie. So I played a little bit better on the back, but it was a brutal start. So I'm not mad about it. You know what I mean? Like last week, like I said, I went to Brookside and I shot a 108. Like I'm normally, when I go out and play golf, like I would expect to shoot somewhere between a 90 and a 95. Like, and if it's not a good round, like I might flirt with 100, like maybe shoot a 98, but like, and outside of Sharon, because I know when we played at Sharon last Saturday, I shot 100 on the number, but that's also, it's Sharon. Like that place fucks me every time. Like I had a great front 9 and then fell apart on the back 9. So it's just inevitable there. But like I said, when I go out on any given round that I'm playing 18, like I expect to shoot somewhere between a 90 and a 95. So I'll take the 94, right? Like there were some holes that were really bad. Like I said, some holes were really good, but that's my game. Like that's what it is. Like I'm a fucking 18 handicap. Like I'm not good. So you got to take what you can. But like I said, like that Brookside, when I went out and shot a 108, like that wasn't fun. Like that was just 4.5 hours of me getting fucked in the ass. And the same thing at Saratoga National. Like that was 4.5 hours of me getting fucked in the ass. Like that's not fun. And then I forget what I shot when we went to the other place that we went to. I already forget the name of it.
In New York?
Yeah.
Eagle Crest. You shot
Eagle
89.
Crest. Yeah, there it is. Shot an 89. So it's like, I'm trying to scroll back and see what I shot. At Saratoga. I think I shot a 98. Yeah. So, but that was a 98 when I kind of gave up on the back 9 and stopped counting penalties. So I was probably closer to a 108 at there, so.
Fucking pain in the ass.
Yeah. Golf sucks.
Well, that's the other thing too, is people are always like, whoa, I shoot. What do you shoot? What do you shoot? And it's like, I don't know, man. Like, where? What are you thinking? Like,
Right.
I can shoot anywhere from 69 to 96 this year. But it's like the 69 I shot is equivalent to a 77 at my course. Because everything's rated and there's numbers and math and shit like that. So it's like, yeah, 3 under was the same as 5 over.
Yeah.
At where I normally play. So it's fucking dumb. And that's why it's like, I always like, at least if I can make you think about like where you are playing from before you get there, or even if you pop a GPS open before you fucking like the night before, like at least whatever minimal edge that is, at least you can fucking at least kind of have an idea of what you're getting yourself into.
Right. There's a few blind shots too here.
Yeah.
Which is a little goofy. But I said it wasn't as bad as Brookside, where I had a blind shot into a 3-tier green with water in front that you couldn't see.
Yeah. Fucking pain in the ass.
Yeah. But, like I said, I would go back. I would definitely go back. And I that being said, like you had said earlier too, I would put it right in line with the Shaker Hills. Like it was really nice conditions. Yeah, it was like tough. It was tough. Like they don't give you a lot of places to miss, but like I didn't leave the course hating golf.
Yeah, and it's like as far as like daily fee courses go. So and I know what we've done this, if Granite, Pine Hills, Waverly, whatever. I don't know what Waverly. If like Pine Hills and Granite are like 5-star public courses, it's probably a 4, right? Like Shaker Hills.
Yeah.
Because 3 would be anything that's average.
Yeah, 3 would be like a Chemawa. Because the conditions are really nice. The
conditions are fine.
The conditions are like 4.5 stars. Yeah. But like it's a fucking 5,400 yard course or something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like when I say DW, like DW is probably a 3, because although the greens are unbelievable, they're still working on some of the other areas, and there's not too much going on with the course. So like I love D-dubs, but it's probably a 3.
I would probably put Wentworth at like a 3, maybe 3.5.
Probably a 3. I'd give it a 3.
Because it's another one where like the conditions are typically pretty good, but like it's another short course.
Yeah. So just like a little, and it's like, so the conditions are always good, but they're not the other places. Like that's kind of like where I'm looking at.
Yeah. That's the one thing about Chemawa that like when I play with people that have never played there before, they're like, oh, I can't believe like how nice everything is here. And I'm like, yeah, man, it's wild. Like they really do put a lot of effort into keeping that place nice. And it's a great course for what it is, right? Like,
I was gonna say, like, so let's put the cost out there. It's
$66 to ride 18.
Yeah, riding 18. That's so cheap.
Yeah.
And to get a place that's in good shape for 66 riding, you're just not really gonna get that a lot. Yeah. Now, where it's lacking is holes 2 and 8 might as well be identical.
Right.
And they may as well just be the opposite of 1, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
And then, 3, 4, they're both just straight par 4 or 3. Hold on.
3's a slight dog left, like very slightly.
3 turns left with the fence?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, but for all intents and purposes, what is it? 3, 4, 5 are all straight, and then 6 you got like the water right.
6 is the OB right. It's the
Oh.
short par 4, like the drivable par
Yeah,
4.
okay. But even 7's mostly straight. Like that's what I mean. Is
7
like
is 7 is dead straight, but
it's
it's
a
the
lot
par
of just
5.
it's a lot of just straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but
No. 9's the only par 3 on the front with the water in the front. You have to get it over the water, and then it's like immediately the green.
yeah,
The
which
back 9 is
you get some hills.
is a little bit better. The back 9 is hilly. So it's some elevation change. But then, like I said, it's a short course. So there's 4 par 4s on the back.
Yeah. So that helps.
I'm sorry, 4 par 3s.
Par 3s. Yeah, so that helps when you only have to maintain tee box, green.
Yeah.
And it's short, so there's not much land. Like it's I mean, it probably like the conditions of it probably give it that 3-star unofficial ranking.
Yeah.
The Sarcasm Speaks 3-star ranking.
Yeah. We could do that. We could have a spin-off podcast where we rank all the golf courses in Massachusetts or New England, I guess.
New England? How many? What are we gonna do? Leave the fucking state?
Yeah, I've played in Connecticut and Rhode Island and New Hampshire a bunch.
So we're gonna do reviews where we've played like these places like once.
Yeah, I mean, don't you typically do a review after you play there once?
I mean, depends. If you want the review to be good, I wouldn't do it after one. Dude, I thought the Bay Club was, I thought the Bay Club was the worst golf course ever.
Yeah.
I didn't get it
again, and
then I had to go back, and it's like, oh, okay, nope, I got you. Understood.
You can update the review every time you play there.
So it's gonna go from a 1-star to a fucking 5-star overnight.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck happened?
It's the greatest place
played
ever.
it. Oh, I played it again.
Yeah. I played better when I played there.
No, it was just I didn't get it at first. So the first time I didn't get the golf course, and I had a bad group.
Yeah.
And car path only.
Yeah, that can fuck with you. Like the people you're playing with can make it.
Awful.
Like the old dude that we played with was kind of a fucking pain in the ass.
Yeah, I just
he was like, so he kept complaining about pace of play, and then he would stop in the woods and look for balls.
Yeah, you don't get to do both, man.
I'm like, what are you doing? Like you just said that, like, because the Ranger came by because they were doing a tournament today. So we teed off at 9:18, and I think there was maybe like 3 groups behind us, and then that was it. Like they cut it off because they had the tournament.
Yeah, it's probably similar because I mean we were there the Sunday before. I mean I didn't play, but Tour Great Boston was there.
Yeah, and so
tee time's probably starting at 10.
Yeah, they rolled out afterwards or whatever. But so at one point the Ranger like came up to us and was like, hey, I want to apologize for the slow play. There's a group in front of the group in front of you. They were behind, they're backing everyone else up. Like we talked to them, it's all set, like don't worry. And me and Vinny are just sitting there like, yeah, man, don't worry about it. And fucking old man Keith like pulls up and goes, who's this group in front of us? They on the par 5, they were waiting for the green to clear, and they had like 270 yards in. There's no need for them to wait for the green to clear. They could have laid it back. And he's like going on. And the Ranger looks at the tee sheet and he goes, they're members here. They usually play pretty quickly. And he was like, yeah, but they were waiting and all this, and we were waiting. And the guy, like the Ranger, goes, yeah, the group in front of them kind of sucks, but we told them to speed it up. And like he just kept going. And then like 2 holes later, that's when fucking old man Keith is looking through the woods for balls. And I turned to Vinny and I go, yeah, pace of play is so slow, but here you are just fucking wandering through the woods. You know what I mean? Like me, Vinny, and Frank are like about to walk onto the green, and Keith is still back in the fairway looking for fucking balls. Like,
yeah, you don't get to have both that way.
Yeah, like you're just a fucking dick.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
But it was like infuriating because he played old man golf. So like, and he had like a weird hitch in his swing, which made me not like him even more.
What do you shoot, 79?
I probably. But like he would hit it like somewhere between 150 and 190 yards off the tee, dead straight most of the time. A couple of times he had a couple bad shots, but like it was literally just old man golf. Like punches driver out there 170 yards, then punches 3-wood again like 130 yards from there, and then have a wedge into the green. And his wedges were actually really good. Like there was a lot of his shots into the green were like 15 feet or less. But I mean, he's coming from 100 yards or less because he went driver 3-wood or driver hybrid to give him like, 80 yards in for his third shot, and leaves it 12 feet from the pin, 2 putts for par, and goes, you know what I mean? Like it's just infuriating.
12 feet from 80 yards, a very good shot.
Yeah. Yeah. So he was doing it pretty frequently. Now it wasn't every hole. Like he had some big numbers that he put up on some of the holes, but most often, like he was just playing old man golf, which was just fucking, it just made me mad. Maybe not like him. Seemed like a perfectly fine guy, but like I just didn't like him because of all things that I just said. So on that note, want to start wrapping this bitch up?
We can wrap this up.
We got another episode to do.
We do. I would say, I don't know how many months it's been, but I have actually learned how to cook pasta the way that I've watched a lot. No, I don't even know. But I used to watch like a ton of Food Network, and they would always say it's like, oh, well, you cook it to like al dente and then you finish it in the pan. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that means.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean you finish it in the pan? Like, how the fuck does that work? It doesn't make any sense.
No.
I finally figured out how that works. So, I mean, generally speaking, the way people make pasta, like the most generic way, you make a sauce. Once it's cooked, you cook the pasta, you mix the sauce with the pasta, done. Right. So it's a little bit more, you more or less make your sauce like on a saute pan, whatever, frying pan, whatever you want to fuck call it. And when the pasta's cooked, you throw it in there, toss it around, like let it go, do its thing, blah, blah, blah. Like, so I've actually figured out how to do that. So now I know what the fuck they mean. Like when they say like, oh, cook it and finish it in the pan. And it's like, oh, you let this go too far. The pasta's overcooked. And I'm like, I don't like for a long time. I was like, I don't know what the fuck that means. But the real thing it has allowed me to do, versatility. Because if all you know how to do is make a sauce and mix, well, how many sauces do people generally know how to make?
Right.
One.
Yeah.
And usually it's pasta meatballs, sausage meatballs, like it's all shit like that. Well, in the summer, that's very fucking unappealing.
Yeah.
Too fucking hot, too fucking heavy. So being able to pull this off this way, finally know how to do it. And I don't know how many real crack. I mean, I figured this out a little while ago. I'm like, but like today, the reason I'm even bringing this up is because it allowed me to make pork rib pasta. Which is a little unorthodox. Obviously it's not meatballs, it's not whatever. So what I did, I threw the ribs in the crock pot. So those cooked for fucking ever, like literally fucking forever, 6 hours on high, I think. But whatever, throw them in, forget about it. So then in the pan, we go caramelized onions, mushrooms, let that cook. Throw some garlic in there, cook in white wine, good. And then as the pasta's cooking, take a little bit of the pasta water, dump it over like that. And that's like what starts to make your sauce. And then like the pasta water starts to reduce out.
Right.
Pasta comes out, dump it, throw it in, whatever, cover with pork ribs. So now, because you can make pasta that way, it allows you to make all this types of fucked up shit. So it doesn't always have to be meatballs. Like if I don't want to make meatballs, I don't have to.
Right.
Or it's like, oh, well, I have all this sausage. Like, how the fuck am I going to like turn it into sauce without, all day? And it's like, all right, easy money. So it's definitely an interesting way to do things. And also pork rib pasta smacks. That gets a seal of approval.
All right. Might have to check that out at some point. I made a brisket today. That was fucking delicious. It was one of the best ones that I've done. Didn't really do much different though. It just happened to be good. I don't know.
Yeah, that can happen.
It was a point.
Yeah, so I don't know the cuts.
So there's the point and the flat. The point is a little more fatty. Like it's a little
top.
It's a little more marbled.
So
I don't know what is what. I don't know the difference.
I don't know either because I think now I could be wrong. This isn't a fact-based pod. I think a whole brisket is what you see in like the videos, whatever. So you see like meat layer, fat layer, meat layer.
Yeah.
I want to say that whether it's top or bottom, one of them is the point and one is the flat. And we're both watching this Giants game right now.
Yeah. Because it was down to 4 seconds on the clock.
Well, actually, 4 seconds. Oh, I don't care what happens. They cover.
Yeah, that's right.
Because they're going to kick.
Even if they hit the field goal.
So if they hit it.
So we got Giants plus 5.5.
Yeah. So if they hit if they hit, they win. If they miss, they win.
Yep.
And if for something goofy happens because 4 seconds, this should run the clock down. But if it doesn't,
this is a cigar field goal.
Because then I was gonna say if the Giants block it and score, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Oof, good thing. I almost split my unit and did like 0.75 on the spread and 0.25 on the money line.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I really think they're gonna win? And it's like, it's the fucking Titans.
I thought there was a legitimate chance they were gonna win. But
yeah, so I did too, but it was mostly like a fade the Titans thought.
Right. So my final thought as the clock ticks out here, and the Titans try and kick this field goal to win the game. When they shanked it, they lost. The Giants won outright.
Wow.
Giants win. Wow.
Zeros on the clock.
Yep. Oh, it's because it's 9/11. So speaking of all of this in New York and everything, my final thought is the state of New York has officially declared a state of emergency. This time, however, it is for polio. If you remember, I think they did this a couple weeks ago for monkeypox. They tried to like turn monkeypox into a thing and like it didn't work. And then we talked a little bit about polio, like was discovered in some areas in New York. I was like,
am I having really bad deja vu?
No, but this is a full-blown like official
I got you.
Declaration of a state of emergency over polio. Which at this point, like if everything is a state of emergency, then like isn't nothing a state of emergency?
Yeah, like I mean, if everything's a state of emergency, nothing is. You're right.
Right. So it's like, oh, there was monkeypox. We have to declare a state of emergency so we can like do some stuff. And obviously,
how's that going?
There was COVID, and now they're like, well, there's polio. There's a state of emergency. And it's like, okay, all right. Like, are you going to also declare another state of emergency this winter for the flu? Like
cold.
You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? It's like, it's the boy who cried wolf, right? Is you just eventually be like, I no one cares. And cool, you declared another state of emergency. Like no one gives a fuck. But yeah, it's official. The disease that we eradicated like 65 years ago is back because there's some fucking assholes that decide not to get the polio vaccine. And now people have polio.
Welcome back, polio.
Yeah. It's comeback of the year, comeback player of the year for 2022. Fuck Christian McCaffrey, fuck Baker Mayfield, all those guys. It's gonna be polio. They're gonna get my vote. So
we could title that 2022 comeback player of the year.
I like that. There it is.
Then people will be wondering, like, Did they talk about player of the year or anything?
Yeah. Oh,
And
I
then
gotta listen to that one.
Then bam, polio.
That's classic marketing 101. Get a clickbaity title so people will listen. All right, so that is going to do it for us. Thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, like, rate, review, subscribe. Also, tell everybody you know about the show. Same thing if you're an audio only guy. If you use Apple or Spotify, you can give us 5 stars on either of those platforms, or both. Why not? Just do both anyway. Who cares? Help us out. You can get us on Twitter at sarcasm_speaks. We're on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod. The Facebook page is Sarcasm Speaks. The website, sarcasmspeaks.com. Big thank you to grillyourassoff.com. Use our promo code SarcasmPod every single time you check out for 10% off your order. And until next time, which for you guys is a couple days and for us is about 10 minutes. Good night, everyone.